A very warm welcome to all of you. This is Business Today, your weekly business roundup brought to you exclusively on Channel I. And today is 17th of January 2018. And you know we bring you business personalities on our show, and we have news coming from the Colombo stock market and also a detailed evaluation of a particular sector towards the latter part of our program. So stay with us, and we are ready to start our show for tonight. And let's move on to Business Personality segment. Right, all that glitters is not gold, but he is a personality who convinced the society to substitute his products with gold. So let's listen to his story after we have a look at the introduction clip.
Mr. Muhyiddin Saeed, founder of Stone and String, is a grandfather, husband, dad, entrepreneur, inventor, and social worker. He has been recognized by Business Today magazine for a Lifetime Award for his passion and commitment that led to the creation of the fashion jewelry industry in Sri Lanka, and paving the way for new thinking amongst the future generations. As a child, he always wanted to be an engineer. Fate had it that he became a chartered accountant, even though he was selected to Faculty of Engineering at University of Moratuwa. It is difficult to talk about a dad without talking about his children. Similarly, it is impossible to talk about Mr. Muhyiddin without talking about Stone and String. Stone and String introduced fashion jewelry using gems and plated material to a gold-dominated society. He inspired his wife and her sister to design in the attic of their house. From their humble beginnings, they created a brand affordable to all. Soon their customers were on the social catwalk, turning heads and touching hearts wherever they went. Then they did the impossible, taking Sri Lanka to the world. They sold on several international airlines. At a time only European brands were available on board. The turning point came when two of their products, the Garnet Dazzle and the Pearl Splendor, were judged the best sellers for 2 consecutive years on Emirates Airlines. The success, recognition and popularity they gained of selling on duty-free for 2 decades helped them become a super brand. Gifts chosen to gift the megastars at IFA event, held in Sri Lanka, were solely from Stone and String. Stone and String was the exclusive jewelry partner for epic film Shri Siddhartha Gautama, winner of the Best Film in International Film Festival. They were awarded the exclusive souvenir licensee for South Asian Games 2006. There is no success if there are no following of customers. Mr. Muhyiddin firmly believes that the gratitude must start with the customer. Hence Stone and String started a loyalty program based on gratitude. And here is a way of saying thank you to Emirates Airline for its turning point. As corporate leaders, their CSR projects are interactive. Bright Sparks booklet teaching children how to face exams were distributed to 1,000 rural schools, and 1,000 mothers were felicitated with Stone and String gifts. Another is their long association with the accident service. Mr. Muhyiddin is involved in the Mother Lanka project, with the idea of changing 20 million hearts for the betterment of the country. The motto of the movement is "I must change for my country to change." Mr. Muhyiddin, being a creative person, has also several patents for his inventions. All his inventions are simple and practical. The inventions are due to certain incidents occurred in his life. These inventions go as 4P personal products for practical people. Stone and String has won many awards, including Presidential Export Award, 5S Award, Super Brand and Lifetime Achievement Award.
All right, and he is none other than Mr. Muhyiddin Saeed, founder of Stone and String. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Nisanga. I'm very happy to share our love story of Stone and String with the Channel I viewers.
Right, and long years ago, you were selected to study engineering at University of Moratuwa, and then you decided to become a chartered accountant. What happened after that?
Well, I worked at Haley's for a short spell, and then I got a fabulous break when my wife's uncle got me a position in the Middle East. Dr. Gate Faron, a personality from Harvard and Stanford University, was running one of the biggest operations in the Middle East. I served a 2-year assignment over there and then decided to come back to Sri Lanka. I joined a company called Crest Group and was very happy there because there were 2 senior chartered accountants working, Mr. Thavendran and Mr. Ransi Gunasekara, former finance directors of Colombo Commercial Company and Maharaja Organization.
Right.
And they were in diverse fields from telecommunication, motorcycles, jewelry, diamond cutting, and even super luxury watches. But then I was bored and I gave my resignation. But they wouldn't accept it. And they gave me a free hand to do whatever I wanted. And that's the start of Stone and String.
Great, lovely. And in most cases, you get into an industry that you could consume, right? But
That's right.
in this case, you have got into an industry that you cannot directly associate with, you cannot directly consume. What made you get into fashion jewelry business? How did you get into this?
Well, back then, when I was working in the Middle East, my wife and I had plenty of spare time. So we do window shopping.
Right.
And as usual, when we are going in Jeddah, there are lots of pilgrims who go around buying lots of gold. Whereas in the West, they would use gold to accessorize, and they will use their funds for investment. But in Asia, even gold was considered investment. So in Sri Lanka, I thought I should make that change, getting people used to using less gold and using their monies elsewhere. And so that's how the fashion industry was created into Sri Lankan market.
Right. And tell us how it was like when you first introduced this, because our society had embraced gold jewelry at that time, and in such a traditional environment, how did you convince people to wear fashion jewelry, and how did you attract this new clientele into your portfolio?
Going back to the 1980s, color TV just came into the country. And then everybody was glued onto the TV because the famous Dynasty program was on, and a lot of glamour programs like Miss Universe and other beauty contests were on. And for us, in reality terms, you could see the vivid colors. So most of the Sri Lankans want to reflect their personality. So I thought Stone and String was the platform for that.
Right, so it's not everyone who would think beyond something that would actually exist, who would think out of the box and get into a new avenue. What was your greatest inspiration to get into this industry?
As a young guy, I always wanted to do something challenging.
Right.
And I found that doing this kind of jewelry would help the society to make their personalities great, while at the same time not using too much of gold.
Right, and you've been in this industry for over 30 years, and for you to sustain and grow in the market for over 3 decades is not an easy task. So what was your unique approach to sustain this business for a long, long time?
When you say 30 years, let me put it this way. The other day when I was talking to our customers, I found we were serving the 3rd generation of our customers. All right?
Right.
And coming back to how we sustain ourselves, we have what you call the 4R principle. First one is refund. That means we refund without asking any questions. Or replace. Then, if they have been using the jewelry for some time, they could come for replating. And finally, once they are kind of bored with the jewelry that they're wearing, they come for redesigning.
Okay.
So they have a complete package.
Right. So You also recently introduced a loyalty program, and the tagline is "Love your brand, we promise to add value." What are the value additions you bring in here?
Stone and String is a privileged lifestyle.
Okay.
So I need to go back and tell you a little story for you to understand why we came up with this. I used to travel a lot, and therefore when we stay in these hotels, I was having a premium platinum card with one of these hotels. So these 5-star hotels were excellent. One day my travel agent booked me through the ticketing office to the same hotel, and I found the service is the same, but to my horror I found that I have been paying 30% more before.
Right.
And they did not give me any satisfactory explanation. So when I came back to Sri Lanka, I did find that we were also doing the same thing. In a sense, let me put it this way. Now, we have promotions with credit card companies, institutions. So when customers from those institutions buy, they get a kind of a privilege. Now, if our customer, existing loyal customer, does not belong to that credit card company or institution, they may not get that. So it's a sad thing. So we immediately said no. If you are a loyal customer and you can prove it, if there's a promotion, they will also get the same privileges. With that, we had these loyalty cards that said, you buy more, you get more kind of thing. Then we found it's not so interesting and not really fair. So I said, let's have a loyalty program that inspires people. So that means our membership cards doesn't have a name on it in the front. It's an inspirational message. So you will have lots of high personalities with their quotes. And the members, we don't give points. We simply embrace them as family. Right. And we all know what a family means. You look after, there are no conditions, and also they get the benefit when the need arises, not just because you buy or something like that. So it's your birthday, you get some benefit at home, right? So it's like that.
Right, and also what we see as customers is the final product only. But to get to that point, there's a whole heap of activities that take place behind this, the stage. So how do you manage your back-end process, and how do you customize your products? How do you customize your products to cater to different market segments?
It's not that simple, but let me put it this way. We founded the company with my cousin, Azari Khada, and then once we won the Presidential Export Award, USAID helped us. USAID helped us to send him, Mr. Khada, and one of our managers to America to learn the nitty-gritties of fashion jewelry manufacture. So in our organization, we have the design department. My wife is in charge of it. She handles the entire design team. And then we have the manufacturing, the plating arm, and the graphics. Right. So it's fairly complex behind the scenes.
Right, and even though this business has been in existence for over 3 decades, you have a very, very limited number of outlets across the country. Why is that?
Well, Stone and String is a privileged lifestyle. So it must be available, the visibility must be in the appropriate locations. So we are at the World Trade Center, airport, seaport, and all activity-based locations where our potential clients visit.
Right, and also we spoke about the external customers, but if you talk about the internal customers, your human capital, your staff strength, initial stages, during your initial stages, how did you find this human capital, because there was no industry in the market, and how did you hire labor, how did you train them, and how did you put them on track to manage this process?
You see, we were all full of energy, we want to do things right.
Right.
So we need to learn it ourselves as well. So we took people just out of school, and then we got technicians and consultants from technical colleges and trained them on the job while we too were learning.
Right. So also fashion is something that would constantly change, and you got to be really updated with what's happening around. So what are the demand patterns that you have observed in the market throughout?
The demand is catered ahead of time. That means we design because we understand what the future fashions will be. We follow the international fashions. So the jewelry is made before, and then our personality are the trendsetters for the creations that we make.
All right, and also we've heard that you've also got into cinnamon business, and when you talk about cinnamon business, it's not the traditional business that we are talking about. You've explored new avenues here. Can you talk a little bit about this aspect?
This is a pretty long story. If I may say, we have a 92% excellent rating with TripAdvisor. Then we have a further 6% saying very good. Now, to have that kind of thing to be sustained, we have designer souvenir collections to meet up with the demands. Among them was something we call cinnamon toothpicks. And when we went into detail, we found that the cinnamon toothpick was really not cinnamon, but only oil infused. So when we started to explore, we found a whole big world of history and cures. And then the passion really started when I started reading about Buddhism. When I was studying Buddhism, there was a section where a celestial Deva came in the form of Brahma and met Lord Buddha. And then he asked so many questions. But the last question was, he wanted to know what is it that will not be destroyed by fire or corroded by moisture or put down by the wind. The Blessed One replied, blessings. Blessings. The blessings cannot be destroyed by, cannot be burned by fire, corroded by moisture, or broken down by the wind. Because any good deed will continue to benefit society.
Right.
So I was thinking about the deep meaning of blessing. So I was wondering, who can give a better product than Mother Nature? Who can certify other than time itself? Who can guarantee its benefits other than generation upon generation? And here we had cinnamon for thousands and thousands of years, used by Ayurveda, Chinese traditional medicine, and documented. And then we soon also found latest research was unfolding the miraculous powers of cinnamon. It's a gift from Mother Nature to Sri Lanka. The world's best cinnamon is from Sri Lanka. So that is why in our logo for cinnamon we say gift to the world.
Right, so
it's a lifestyle product. It's a lifestyle product.
very, very interesting. And my final question to you is, as a great business personality, as a person who has discovered a new market, a new industry, a person who has introduced a new industry to Sri Lanka, what is your message to the new generation?
Well, the young people of today, they must be passionate of what they want to do, and it must benefit society.
They find it difficult to select a path, to discover themselves. So
Yes. Now, I was very, very fortunate to have studied in a missionary school. It was run by Americans, and they taught us and demonstrated never to fear failure. Just keep going. So we as Sri Lankans today, what we need to do is first be proud that we are Sri Lankans, unite. And I am a member of Mother Sri Lanka. Our motto is change if you want the country to change. So the message is simple. Let us be human and bring pride to Sri Lanka.
great. Thank you very much, and we are indeed honored to have you with us today. It was a great pleasure talking with you today. Thank you very much for being with us once again.
It's an honor.
Thank you. Right. With that, we will move on to a short commercial break, and we will be back with you soon. Stay tuned.
Now